أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وإيمانا وفقها في الدين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وتجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا يا رب العالمين. This is the 15th hadith, right? Convention of the 15th hadith. Okay. Hadith by Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu. Who wants to read?
Right.
Okay.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم جاره. ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه.
رواه البخاري ومسلم. Okay.
I want to read.
You want to read?
No.
Okay, read.
عن أبي هريرة عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. ومن كان يؤمن بالله أو ليصمت. ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم جاره. ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه. رواه البخاري ومسلم.
Alright, so hadith by Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu. Abu Huraira, our good friend, right? We've already discussed the biography of Abu Huraira, and we don't have to repeat. When did we say he died?
After the Prophet died.
Okay, he did not die before the Prophet, so of course he definitely died after the demise of the Prophet. So when, in which year?
3 years after the death of the Prophet.
He died in the year 58.
58.
Yeah. The same year Aisha radiallahu anha died. Alright, so he narrated this hadith. As we said, he's he's the leading hadith narrators. Right? One of the leading hadith narrators on top of the list. So he said, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم جاره. ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه. So the Prophet ﷺ said, so this hadith has what? 3 parts, right? The first part, فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. The second part, فَلْيُكْرِمْ جَارًا. And then the third part, فَلْيُكْرِمْ ضَيْفًا. So these are the 3 parts of the hadith. So he said, من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. He who believes in Allah and the last day should say what is good or remain silent. Okay, so this is the meaning of the first hadith. But let's look at the 2 parts of the first part. Right, this part, the first part has 2 parts. That is, من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. He who believes in Allah and the last day. This is the first part. فليقل خيرا أو ليصمت. The second part. Alright, so now, why did the Prophet ﷺ said, he who believe in Allah and the last day should say what is good or remain silent? Why did he just mention 2 pillars of what? Of Iman. Right? We mentioned that Iman has how many pillars? 6 pillars. Right? So Iman billah, and then Iman bil yawm al-akhir is also, it's part of what the six pillars of Iman. So why did the Prophet ﷺ mention only 2 pillars of Iman here? Any clue?
I think because it's very important.
Of course it's important, but this no what Alright, so now these are the only 2, these are the 2 things, 2 pillars that when we keep in mind, it will push us to do what? To do good deeds. Alright, so the first one, Iman billah, to believe in Allah, right? To believe in the essence of Allah is one in His essence, He's perfect, He's worthy of worship, right? So when you believe in Allah, that's the first point of what? Good deeds, right? Because when a person believes in Allah, that's when his good deeds will be recorded, will be considered good deeds. But if a person don't believe in Allah, is a non-Muslim, his good deeds are what? Are good deeds, but will not be recorded in his book. So therefore the person will not benefit from the good deeds on the day of Qiyamah. The person will be rewarded for that good deeds in what? In this world. Right? So it will not be recorded. So that's the first point of what? First point of what? Good deeds. To believe in what? In Allah. If you want to benefit, from your good deeds, from your charitable act in this world and Akhirah, the first point is to believe in Allah. And then also the second thing that will also push you to what? To do good deeds is what? To believe in the day of Akhirah. That is to believe in accountability. Right? Because when you believe that there is the day of Akhirah, judgment day, the day of what? Awakening, you know that yes, there's what? There's accountability. So you will be held accountable on what? On everything that you did. Right? So when you have this belief in mind, always that okay, there's accountability. There's a day of Qiyamah. You'll be held accountable on your actions. You'll be held accountable on what? On your utterances. You'll be held accountable on your dealings. What will you do? You make sure you get things right. Right? Okay. Same. Compared to someone who don't believe there is a day of Akhirah, how do you think the person will live?
How he wants.
Yeah, the person will live the way how he pleases, right? He don't care because he don't believe that there's there's a day of Akhirah. So he will cause atrocities, harm people, transgress on people's right, But if you believe there's accountability, that's when you'll be cautious of what? Of your actions, your utterances, and your dealing. So this part, believing in Allah and believing in the day of Qiyamah, is a very important element that we should always keep in mind. Right now we all believe in Allah, but what we have to do here is to always be vigilant, be watchful of Allah. We should know that Allah is watching us wherever we are. Right, so we should have that consciousness of Allah. Then in addition to that, we should also know that whatever we are doing, whatever we see, in whatever we deal, we will be held accountable. You get it? So now this is the first part, right? Believing in Allah. He who believes in Allah and the last day should see what is good or remain silent. So here the second part is the person should see what is good or remain silent. Now this it teaches us the importance of speech, right? The importance or the danger of our utterances. So now we can all speak, right? We can all speak what we want. But here the Prophet ﷺ wants us to what? To keep in mind that whatever good that we say is an act of worship, we will be rewarded for it. Right? And anything bad, anything evil that you say, you also will be held accountable, meaning it will be recorded against you. Okay? So now the Prophet wants us to focus on what? On the positive side and also on the good side. So he said we should say what? We should say what is good. Right? And saying what is good has no limit. There are good things that you can say, a word of advice, recitation of the Quran, zikr, admonition. All these are something good. And if you have nothing to say, or you have something to say, but not good, not beneficial, what do? It's better you remain silent. It's better you what? You remain silent. Because your utterances is part of what? It's part of your actions. You get it? When you give charity, when you give sadaqah is what? It's an action, it's an act of worship. You'll be rewarded for it. Same as when you what? When you say good, it's also what? An act of worship. You'll be rewarded for it. So the Prophet ﷺ want us to what? To remain positive. He said what? Say what is good or remain silent. Because whatever we say is recorded, be it good or bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. There's nothing that we say except there are what? Two angels that record. So if what we say is good, it will be recorded by the angel on the right side. And then if what we say is what is evil, will also be recorded by the angel on what? On the left side. Right? So there's nothing that we do or say except it's what? It's recorded. You get it? So we have to what? We have to remain positive and say only that is good. So now this teaches us to what? To control our what? Our tongue and our utterances. Okay? And then there are many ways to what? To do that. So if we say we should control our utterances or we should control our tongue, how do you control your tongue? How do you control your tongue?
Remain silent.
When you remain silent, do you control your tongue? What does it mean if we say you should control your tongue?
You should know what to say.
You should know what to say. Okay.
You should try to know when to say certain things or why we say them.
Okay. MashaAllah. So there are many ways to control your tongue, right? First, you should focus on things that concern you, and do not indulge in the conversation on things that does not concern you. So before you say something, before you engage in something, before you initiate a conversation about something, ask yourself, does this thing concern you? If it does not concern you, there's no need to initiate it or to even start talking about it. You get it? Right. So you ask yourself, does this concern you? Because when you know what concerns you and what does not concern you, this will guide you on what to say and what not to say. Right? And this will go a long way to strengthen your iman. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Muslim Al-Muslim man salim al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. Right? So a complete Muslim is someone who everyone is what? Is safe from what? From the evil of what? His actions and also from his utterances. Right? So before you say something, you make sure you ask yourself, does this concern you or does not? Right? So, and this is also what? One of the qualities of what? Of the believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised these believers for this particular quality. He said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. So these pious, Allah said indeed, the successful ones are what? Are the believers. Right? So the believers are what? That are the true successful ones. And then he started mentioning their what? Their qualities. And then he said, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. They are what? They observe khushu', full concentration in their salah. And also, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. They also what? Stay away from vain talks. Right? From vain utterances, from vain talks, from things that is not what? That does not concern them, or it's not what? It's not of importance. Right? So the first thing, this is one of the ways to control your tongue, to ask yourself, does this concern you? If it concerns you, of course, is it necessary to say it or not? If it's not necessary, the best thing is to remain silent. Right? And also, one of the things that will help us protect our tongue is to constantly remember Allah, to engage in what? In zikr. To engage in what? In zikr. Always have zikr that you say, astaghfirullah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah. Be saying it constantly. This will save you from what? From indulging in what? In things that are sinful, or in things that does not concern you. And it also help you protect your what? Control your tongue. You get it? So this, when you remember Allah continuously, this, you accumulate reward for yourself, and also protect you from what? From sins. You get it?
Yeah.
If you not engage in zikr, and you have nothing good to say, the best thing is to what? To remain silent. You understand? And also, another way to also protect your tongue is to stay away from backbiting. Right? To stay away from gossip and backbiting. You know what gossip and backbiting is?
What are the difference?
Okay, so gossip is to say something about someone, right, behind their back, right? So backbiting and then gossip, actually there's no difference between backbiting and then gossip. So that is to say something behind someone's back, something that when the person hears it, he or she will not be happy. This what? This giver, that's gossiping, or gossip or backbiting. You understand? So a way to protect your tongue is to what? Is to what? To stay away from backbiting. So now, that is, backbiting is talking about people behind their back, right? Okay. So, and then, there's no way you can what? You can stay away from talking about people. Can you say, okay, I will not talk about people? There's no way you can do that. I mean, people, you can't live without talking about people. You will definitely talk about people. But the most important thing is to remain on the positive side. You get it? Don't say bad things about people behind their back. And don't also say good things about people in front of them. Say good things about them behind their back. You get it? Don't say bad things about people in front of them or behind them. You get it? Say good things behind them. When you do that, you stay away from backbiting and from sin as well. You get it? Because you can't stay away from what? From talking about people. You definitely do that. But you have to remain on the positive side. And also, to also stay away from what? From insult and also curse. Because today, people like to curse, people like to insult. People like to curse, people like to also what? Insult. Okay, so, and then the Prophet ﷺ said, Sibab al-Muslimi fusukun wa kitaluhu kufr. Insulting a believer is what? Is immoral act, it's an evil act. Sibab al-Muslimi fusukun. And also, a companion came to the Prophet ﷺ and said to him, Ya Rasulallah, ud'u ala al-mushrikeen. Curse the idol worshippers. He came to this man, the companion came to him and said, Oh Ya Rasulallah, curse them. Curse these idol worshippers. So what did the Prophet say? The Prophet said, Inni lam ub'ath la'anan wa innama bu'athtu rahmatan lil alamin. I was not sent to curse people, but I was sent as what? As a mercy to humanity. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ, these are idol worshippers. Idol worshippers. He what? He refused to what? To curse them. He refused to curse them. Right? He refused to do that. But today you find Muslims cursing what? Other Muslims. Muslims cursing other Muslims. This also what? This also things that are not good. So this anything that does not fall under good, under righteousness, it's what? It's evil. You either see what is good or remain silent.
So what about saying something fact about someone that if the person hears, the person will not be happy? Is that also backbiting?
So, what is a fact about someone?
For instance, the teacher like King.
Okay.
And you are saying, maybe student, this teacher like King. And when the teacher hears, you will not be happy about it because you are telling it's more like a gossip anyway. But is it classified?
So this is not backbiting. This is not backbiting. Now, this is what is happening. It's known for that. And so you are informing your colleagues that this teacher he like doing this. You get it. So this is not backbiting. So this is not. Is there another question? Okay. So now let's move on to the second part of the hadith. He said, وَمَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيُكْرِمْ جَارَهُ. He who believes in Allah and the last day should honor his neighbor. Right? He who believes in Allah and the last day should honor what? His neighbor. So now, who is a neighbor? Who is a neighbor?
Literally.
Huh?
Literally.
Who is a neighbor?
Someone you are living close to. The same community.
The same community. That's a neighbor. Okay. Alright, so yeah, neighbor, it's someone who we have someone close to you, living close to you, a neighbor. Yeah, but if we say neighbor, It's not just a person who stays close to you. No. Now, if you want to know who your neighbor is, this is, let's say, this is where the location of your house, right? So you count 40 houses to your right.
Wow.
40
houses. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 40 houses to your right. The 40th one, from the first one to the 40th, these are your neighbors. You count also 40 houses to your left. From 1 to the 40th one is what? All these people are your neighbors. And also, in front of your house, this side, the other side, and then also the other side. So all these people are what? Are your neighbors.
Wow.
Yes. So if you count this, you realize that the whole community, the whole neighborhood, everyone is your neighbor. It's not just the immediate houses or those staying close to you. You get it? Yeah, so now sometimes if you have to even count these 40 houses from your house to these 40 houses on your right, you realize that it falls under what, a different area. Yeah. Right? Okay, so like that, this is a neighbor. Yeah. So these people, the Prophet said you should what? If you believe in Allah and the last day, you should treat them well. You should honor them. So how do you honor them? Right? You honor them through what? Through living, relating well with them. Understand? Relating well with them. Do not harm them. Anything that you will not be happy with, don't do it to them. You understand? Like burning something. You know, nowadays we like to burn things in front of our houses. But the smoke disturbs other people. You get it? So when you do this, you're what? You're harming your neighbor. You get it? You know, our pious predecessors. There's this man who saw a mouse in his house. Alright? And then he did not kill the mouse or change the mouse house. And he was asked about that. He said, I don't want this mouse to leave my house and enter my neighbor's house. Yes, because when he chased it out, he has harmed the neighbor. You understand? He has changed what he don't want into his what? Into his neighbor's house. You get it? Yeah. So we pay attention to all this. You understand? And also, when you cook, you cook not only for yourself and your family, you should also consider your neighbor. But this, in terms of cooking, of course you can't serve the 40. So you look at what the one close to you, the one closest to you, you serve them. You understand? Once the Prophet ﷺ was telling one of the companions, إذا طبخت مرقة فأكثر ماءها وتعاهد جيرانك. When you cook a soup, when you prepare a soup, add more water so that you serve, so that you can serve you can serve more of your neighbors. But of course, adding more water doesn't mean you should make it watery. No. It means you should make it in a large quantity so that you can serve as many neighbors as possible.
So because of the way the world is going, it's very difficult, especially
to define who neighbor is.
Yes. And also related to trust issues, so especially with regards to the food, or maybe you're having something that somebody you have never spoken to because he's considered your neighbor. That kind of relationship is problematic.
So you are saying that people will not accept it when you give them food?
The person doesn't know you, man. Even if the person doesn't know you, a lot of people are like that. If you give them food, maybe during Sunday or something, bring them food. Because they don't know you, or maybe they don't really trust you. So they will accept 3 days.
Yeah, the issue is the way you relate with them. Of course, when you see your neighbor, you always pass by, and when it's ain't, you prepare food and then give it. Of course, you will not trust him. You get it. But whenever you see him, oh, how are you? How is everything? You relate well with them. Of course, the person will accept it and even thank you. You understand? But if you don't relate well with the person will say, okay, this person don't even greet me. Now why is she or why is he serving me or giving me food?
So I actually know people. They are close, they do everything together, they laugh together. But if one person serves food to another person, he will not eat it. He will keep it just because of the relationship they have. But there's trust issues. So you just keep the food fine. Person is not there, but in trouble. It's happened a lot in our society. You know, because of the influence of the world as well, trust issues and a lot of them. So many a times it becomes very, very problematic.
Yeah, so it all depends on the relationship, you know.
Wow.
There's no way you relate with someone with honesty, with truthfulness, and then you still have trust issues. You get it? Yeah, unless maybe you are tempted to poison the person. When he's trying to poison, you know, you attempt to poison the person, and then he realizes it. So, of course, you know, the person can't trust you anymore. You know, but
it's not everyone that will accept it and maybe will be smiling. Some people will accept it, they'll be smiling in front of you, but when you go, they'll just change their look.
Yeah, so
but naturally, that's how they are.
No,
they actually have trust issues.
Yeah, so
I know, that's what I'm saying. I actually know people.
But shit, I think if that person is have that kind of mindset and you don't have it and you go and give it to them, whatever they will use it for, you have done your best.
Yeah, you have done your part. The Prophet said, "Fal yukrim jarahu." You should what? If you believe, when he who believes in Allah and the last day should what? Show honor his neighbor, or show his neighbor hospitality. So you have shown the neighbor. You understand? So that's what matters. You have your reward and you've done your part. Understand? So that if the person decides not to eat, that's not your business. But the person should not throw it away. It's not good. It's being wasteful.
And shit, if I know that this person, if I'm going to give the food, they will throw it away. Is it good to keep it? Definitely I'm not going to.
So now, if you know that, okay, this neighbor, when I give him food, he always throw it away. You don't have to send it. You don't have to. Because you know that they will definitely waste it. So, if you take it and they throw it away, you are sinful. Yeah, so you find someone who will eat and give the person. You understand? If no one is also interested in your food, you what? You keep it, and then.
Say, the fact that the hadith is saying you should honor your neighbors, does that mean that when you count 40 houses to your right, left, front and back, you should be in good relationship with them? You have to make friends with all those houses.
You can't do that because this will take you lifetime to do that. You get it? But the most important thing is at least be acquainted with whom your neighbors, with your neighbors, you know. So, because you can't befriend everyone. You can't befriend everyone. You understand? So, but relate well with those who are close to you. You understand? Relate well with them. That's it. You can jarahu. Right? So it's not to befriend them, but relate well with them, respect them, do not harm them. Yeah, that's it.
Regardless of which religion.
No, it doesn't matter. It says, "Fal yukrim jarahu," Be it a Muslim or Christian or Jewish or idol worshiper, it doesn't matter. Since he's living close to you, it's a neighbor. You understand? But a neighbor who is a Muslim and a relative has more right than what? Than others. Than a Muslim neighbor. And we also have non-Muslim neighbor. So a Muslim neighbor and also a relative has what? 3 rights over you. Right of what? Being a relative and also a neighbor and a Muslim. But a Muslim neighbor has 2 rights. Right? So, as being a Muslim and also being a neighbor. And a Christian neighbor has what? Only 1 right. Or a non-Muslim neighbor has what? Only 1 right. That is being a neighbor. You get it? So if there's something that you want to, at least, you want to share, those close to you, your relatives, and also your neighbors, and then your Muslim relative neighbor, is what it's more deserving. What you share with them first, then the other categories, then you understand. But if you have, let's say, a non-Muslim neighbors, it's very good to treat them well, because it's also part of what? Part of propagation, calling people to Islam. You understand? Yeah.
Say, what if the Muslim neighbors, they are of less privilege, or maybe you find someone with less privilege, even though your relative Muslim neighbor, they are also less privileged, but from the classical look, it's more like the Muslim neighbor, maybe close to you, is very, very less privileged. Maybe you have something, can you decide to go and give him instead of?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Okay. So, and then the third part of the hadith says, من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه. He who believes in Allah and the last day should show his guest hospitality. Right? You should honor your guest. So how do you honor your guest?
You should treat them well, welcome them.
Yeah. You welcome them, provide water for them, and if you have food, you provide food for them. Yes. So, and also, a guest has what? A certain right on what? On the host. You understand? At least, if you have food, drink, you should what? Provide for the person. Okay, now let's say that there's a neighbor, a guest. You have a guest, you have food, and you didn't serve the guest and he's hungry. Can the neighbor take the food and eat? No, right? No. Alright, so showing your neighbor hospitality is to, serve them, entertain them with food and drink. That's if you have it. You understand? If you have it, you serve them. So, example of that, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, when the angels came to him, these angels, they were going to destroy the people of Lut. Right? The people of Lut who were committing homosexuality. Right? So they came to give Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam good news of a child. Then they will proceed and what? To destroy the people of Lut. So they came to him. Allah said, هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ ضَيْفِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ الْمُكْرَمِينَ إِذْ دَخَلُوا عَلَيْهِ فَقَالُوا سَلَامًا قَالَ سَلَامٌ قَوْمٌ مُنْكَرُونَ فراغ إلى أهله فجاء بعجل سمين فقربه إليه قال ألا تأكلون. So here Allah is saying that, have you heard the story of the guests of Ibrahim? Right? So these guests, they were what? They were angels. They came to him in the form of what? Humans. So they came to him and then say, Qala salam. Qala salamun qawmun munkarun. And also what? He's also responded their greeting. And then he slipped to his household to prepare something for them. And then he brought a roasted calf for them, So he served them, and then they did not eat. They were angels, they don't eat. So he was worried. Because in their tradition, when you serve a guest and the guest did not eat the food, it means that the guest has an evil intention against you. So Ibrahim was worried. And then they informed him that no, they are angels, they came to convey good news from Allah, that Allah will grant him a knowledgeable child. That's his haq. نبشرك بغلام عليم. Right, so this how Ibrahim ﷺ treated or received his guests, even though they were they were angels, but look at what he did for them. So this is a good example on how to treat a guest. Right? So, and also a guest who has come from, let's say, from a different city, has come to you. So for him, the person has 3 days right on you to host the person. 3 days. Right? But if you want to host the person more than 3 days, that's up to you. You understand? But if you can't host the person for that 3 days, it's also not compulsory. You get it? It's also not It's also not compulsory to do that. This recommended. It's a right on the host to host or to show the guest hospitality, but it's not it is not obligatory. It is the person's right as a guest to host the person, to provide food and drink and shelter for the person for 3 days. This is what this recommended. Okay, but if the host can't afford to do that, the person it's not sinful, and then you have to politely tell the person that you can't host him or her. You understand? Yeah. Because let's say the person has come to you to spend 3 days, and these 3 days you have to be providing for the person the food and drink and then shelter. And then you were in a difficult situation before the person came, and if you are to do all this, you have to go and seek for a loan or something like that to be able to do that. And this it's not right to do that. Okay, so you don't have to just tell the person you can't host the person. Of course, you find a polite way to tell the person that okay, this is your situation, and so that's also important. Not to just go say okay, to say I'm going to surprise this person. You leave your city, let's see, from Tamale or from Accra, from Kumasi to Accra, that you are coming to surprise someone. You get it? You don't do that. You don't do that. So, and also before you visit someone, you have to let the person know. You should inform the person that you are coming at this time. Okay, because when you come, if you come without notice, the person can say, okay, it's not available now, so please go back.
The person is you.
Huh?
You guys are talking.
Yes, of course, the person, but the environment is not conducive for the person to come in, so the person should go back. Yes.
Classic.
That's what the Quran said. فَإِنْ لَكُمُ رِجَعٌ فَرْجَعٌ. If you are told to, if you are asked to go back, if you are asked to return, return. You understand? That's why you don't surprise people, especially when you are coming from far away. You will be surprised. You get it? So you have to what? You have to inform the person that you are coming, and then you should make your intention clear to the person. Okay, I'm coming to stay for 3 days. Okay, and also it's also good on the side of the guest not to overburden the host. You get it? So it's what should be. Everything should be done in moderation and in goodness. You know, you don't have to overburden the guest, and the guest should also know what should receive you well and do things according to his or her ability. You understand? So. من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه. Right? فليكرم ضيفه. He who believes in Allah and the last day should honor his guest. Right? Alright. Is there any question?
So what if it's happened out of ignorance? For instance, we are children, and maybe you have a grandmother who lives in Newtown, and you people are here. So, you know, around afternoon, if you go, they prepare food in the house.
Okay.
So you decided to surprise them. We used to do that to our grandmother. So is there any this one for children?
For children? Allah forgive them. I mean, it's good if like you inform your parent that you're going there, they should inform them that you're coming. It's good. But if it's a close place, you're not coming from far away, it's close, I mean, there's no problem. Especially if they are, let's say, your grandmother. Her grandmother, she's always willing to welcome you. So yeah. But if, of course, you have to be considerate, you should look at a child is a child, you know. Yeah. We are talking when the discussion, we are referring to what, to adults, not children. So yeah, for children, inshallah, there's no problem.
But say, can people live like that just to surprise someone? Come from very afar, and they suspect they'll come and knock and open and give them.
Yeah, people do that. Yeah, people do that. Yeah. Unfortunately, people say, okay, surprise. People come.
Even the person is feeling happy. Islamically, generally, surprising someone is equal.
It will depend on which surprise. Like, if let's say you're surprising someone with a car, like you're buying the car, you're gifting the person a car, it's a very good surprise. Right? It's a very good surprise. But the surprise that we are talking about is concerning visitation. Right? You don't visit someone without prior notice. Right? You inform the person that you are coming. And also there are times that you don't have to visit. Right? Early in the morning. You know, early in the morning, this is not time for visitation. Unless the person tells you to come at that time, then you can go. But early in the morning, you don't go. And also, after Zuhur, prayer, you don't visit. Unless the person asks you to come. Yeah, because it's time of rest, and also after Isha.
So regardless of the relationship you have with the person?
Regardless. But now we visit at any time. Even at night, someone will come to you and come to visit. Right, so we don't visit. At all these times, it's not right to visit. Yeah. So early in the morning you don't visit because it's time for work and then also time for rest.
So then maybe we have to educate a lot of people. We have to educate a lot of people. You know the ECG. You are there, you are thinking about yourself and they come and surprise you till day. Say, this is not.
No, that one is not the station. They are doing.
They come and surprise you. It's a surprise.
No, it's not surprise.
No, it's not surprise.
That one is not surprise. They are coming to inform you that, brother, over the month, this is what you consume. So, yeah, they.
You have to give you priorities.
No.
Surprise.
No, for that's not a surprise visit. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So if you concern this time of visiting, this one is not what Islam. One of my professors, I used to send him a message. One time I sent him a message around 11 or so in the evening. I was in Turkey. He sent me a message. He said, I should not do it to anybody, regardless. I send him a message after 10, between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I should never call anybody or send anybody a message. That's what he told me at that time. So it's still up here. If you want to send message like around late, I said it's very difficult. I may forget. And I was saying, otherwise it's difficult.
Yes. Yeah. So you don't call also at that time, Yeah. Unless it's an emergency. Yeah. So all this time is time of rest. You don't call. You don't visit. Right. Yeah. But our professors, anytime you send them a message, they will reply. Yeah. When I was these professors, when I was doing my master's, we always we are in touch. Immediately you send him a message, he will just respond. I once sent a message at 2 a.m.
Wow.
0202 a.m. 0205, he replied.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't sleep. Yeah, so with them, it's a work that we did, they are supervising it. So when you do that, you send it to them. In the morning, they will see and then respond. Okay, but we don't call at that time. We just send message and then they will reply. So, but of course, you have to know your relationship with the person and also, but generally, you don't call at that time. You don't also visit. Okay, yeah. Unless if, let's say, you know that this person permits you to call at any time. Some will tell you at any time you can call. But, some they just say that, call me at any time.
Yeah, business time.
But, brother, if you say call me at any time, you look at the person, say that it's a family man, you don't call at all.
I remember one sheikh, he asked me that anytime I need anything, I should just contact him or something. So he messaged me at a time, so I also sent him an audio. Then it was like he's with his wife, so in the morning he replied me.
So like that. So is there another question?
No, sure.
No question. Okay, so let's pause here.